Dimitri Cohen joins us right now, the Managing Director of Raven Capital. Dimitri, so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here on M&A. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, what your expertise is.
Sure, absolutely. So Raven Capital is a boutique investment management firm based out of New York and LA. We focus on asset-backed investment opportunities and special situations, invest up and down the capital structure in multiple industries, and team of about 20 people, and firm was founded in 2008.
One of the panel discussions that you were involved with today was about the restructuring of restaurants. We read so many headlines about the big stores, Toys R Us and Claire's, and those companies going out of business. But are restaurants now catching up with the pace? And do you expect to see more restaurants filing and reorganizing?
I do. I think that the space is in trouble from the standpoint of being just full of oversupply. People are much more aware of what they're eating, where they're eating, and have a lot more options than they used to have before. And so I think that similar issues of traffic being down in malls are going to plague the restaurant space as well. And until there's a right sizing of kind of supply and demand, you're going to continue to see brands that really only existed because there was no other options before really go away and not offer anything that's differentiated to the consumer.
Tell us about your company's role in the reorganization of Romano's Macaroni Grill.
Yeah, so we were the senior dip blender there, and also provide an exit facility. We partnered with a management team that we're very familiar with, that we've worked with in the past, and created a very interesting opportunity to enhance our credit investment relative to a lot of other opportunities where there isn't assets, right? We like to find assets that we can really get a hold of, and we were able to locate assets that aren't like as obvious as real estate, right? To enhance our position, and so it's also a brand that's been around, and it's been around for a long time, and people actually don't know why they've stopped going, right? You ask them, and they're like, "Oh, I love that. I used to bring my family there. Whatever happened to that brand? Is it still around?" And multiple ownership has really caused a disruption in the things that people really liked about it, and all that stuff is coming back now. And so I think that the brand, the bankruptcy let us shed a lot of a lot of liabilities that we just didn't need. We closed stores that had heavy leases and created operating expenses that the business was hurt by, and now we're focusing on not just cutting costs, we're also focusing on new revenue streams like third-party delivery, which is really helping the business grow, where, hey, people like comfort food when it's cold out, and so instead of going to Macaroni Grill, you can get Macaroni Grill delivered to your house, and that's really helping, and helping other restaurants as well.
And speaking of helping, a lot of employees were helping, because a lot of the stores are saved, right?
Yeah, no, we kept a lot of them open. Most of them stayed open, and the best people, I mean, people and service are the most important thing in restaurants, right? It doesn't matter what your brand is. If somebody goes and doesn't have a good time and doesn't have a good experience, they're not going to go back. And it's really hard to deliver that when people are turning over. And so Macaroni Grill has really focused on its people, focused on its staff, and created a team and energy of, hey, people like us. Let's just remind people why they like us. And so that service is hopefully resonating and bringing customers back.
When it comes to restructuring, how does that sector, the restaurant sector, differ from others?
Yeah, it's actually harder, right? Because if you compare it to retail, which people like to do, right? Because they're both in malls and they're both somewhat struggling. But even retail, you have inventories that you can liquidate, right? You can have receivables, right? You have some type of asset to grab a hold of. Most of these restaurants, I mean, the food perishes very quickly. There is no inventory, right? And the assets are hard to come by. So some own real estate, but few do. And there's assets that what we try to do is we create them, right? Like we find equity owners that are maybe more willing to help guarantee the loan or things like that. We create a bespoke structure for deals like this because there aren't assets to grab a hold of. So because of that, it's hard to restructure. It either works or it goes away, liquidates much quicker, because there isn't really something that you can grasp and securitize against.
Well, you gave a lot of great information today in your panel, but you also had the opportunity to listen to other speakers on other subjects. Why is it important to you to come to one of the M&A Advisor symposiums?
Look, I think that the people in this industry are incredibly bright and are seeing a lot of deals, right? And for us, our sourcing is our lifeline, and so to be able to meet new people and see the ones that you know, to hopefully help with deal flow, and also make sure we're not missing anything that's either a new trend or something that is really moving the industry one way or another.
Well, we're happy you attended. Dimitri, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.